Hi, my name is Whitney Eddy, and this is the Walt Disney World Reputation Risk Assessment. Introduction. The business is considering making a statement against the Florida bill, nicknamed the Don't Say Gay bill. The statement will show the company's supports of its LGBTQ+ cast members, but may also negatively impact the company's relationship with the state of Florida and its legislature by disagreeing with a recently signed bill. A background on the bill. Ron DeSantis, Florida governor, recently signed the Parental Rights in Education bill, nicknamed the Don't Say Gay bill, into law. This bill was created to keep public school teachers from discussing sexual orientation in the classroom. Opposers of DeSantis quickly nicknamed this bill the Don't Say Gay bill, since classrooms have been filled with princess movies and the like for years, showing heterosexual couples to children and teaching them about traditional family dynamics. Many question whether or not the bill was created to protect children or if it was created as an anti-LGBTQ+ bill to keep them from being outspoken in the classroom. Context. How will this risk impact the Walt Disney Company, its guests, and its cast members? First and foremost, this risk will impact the Walt Disney Company. The Walt Disney Company recently added a fifth key, inclusion, as part of the 5 keys that cast members strive to follow while working across the 4 theme parks and resorts that make up the Walt Disney Company. The addition of this key is important, as inclusion is the basis of the guest experience. If guests don't feel included, they won't be able to fill any of the other 4 keys within the theme parks, especially safety. Adding this key to supercharge Disney's traditional 4 keys allows for guests to feel included and as though they belong at Walt Disney World. If the company supports the Don't Say Gay bill, it goes against its own 5th key in a way that may be unforgivable by guests and cast members alike. At the same time, it may damage the company's relationship with the state of Florida and its Republican guests if they choose to side against the state of Florida. Is it worth the risk? Let's dive in. The next group impacted by this are Disney cast members. According to a Gallup poll, 5.6% of adults in the United States identify as LGBTQ+. That is over 14 million people in the United States alone. People travel from across the globe to visit Walt Disney World. Walt Disney World employs 77,000 people. If the same amount of Walt Disney World employees are part of this community as they are traditionally in the United States, around 4,000 cast members and their lifestyles will be directly impacted by this legislation. While this may not seem like a lot in comparison, that is 4,000 individuals who will watch their employer decide whether or not they have their back in the state of Florida. It is also not known and important to note that the number of LGBTQ+ employees may exceed or be below the average for Walt Disney World. The next group impacted are Disney guests. Guests of Walt Disney World who are LGBTQ+ may be impacted by Disney's decision of whether or not to back Florida's decision. Guests are immersing their children in Disney stories whether or not they contain LGBTQ+ characters that share the same lifestyles. When immersing their family in these stories, it is important for guests of all backgrounds to be able to connect and feel at home in the theme parks and while watching the films. By deciding whether or not they will support the state of Florida, Disney also shows its guests that are part of this community whether or not they truly support them. The state of Florida. Since Disney is not openly backing the state or the bill currently, the state is considering taking away Disney's Reedy Creek Improvement District, which makes up Disney's first responders, waste treatment area, and road maintenance team. While Disney has also not outspokenly been against this bill, this threat was created in a way to cause Disney to back the bill and the state. What does it mean for Disney if they do take away the Reedy Creek Improvement District? It's too early to tell. Risk scenarios. Disney has a difficult decision to make. Will it stand up for its LGBTQ+ cast members and guests, or stand behind the governor of Florida, the state in which the company resides? There's risk to each of these scenarios. The first scenario comes if they choose the state over their cast members. This may lead to cast quitting their jobs, protesting against the company, or the worst case scenario, making decisions to hurt the company's reputation in a multitude of ways. This could be done by sharing private information they obtained while working for the company, speaking out as the company before they resign, making social media posts that negatively harm the company, or other various ways. If Disney chooses to back its LGBTQ plus casts over the state, this could lead to the state of Florida restricting Disney's freedom as a company, taking away Reedy Creek, and putting further laws into place that would hurt Disney and its self-governing status. Disney must decide which one to back, which is a difficult decision to make. Traditionally, Disney has supported its LGBTQ plus community. Each year, Disney launches merchandise in its theme parks and on shopdisney.com to celebrate Pride Month during June. The picture above shows last year's photo shoot at Disneyland, showcasing a family with 2 moms, 2 children, in their adorable Pride merchandise. If Disney does not back its LGBTQ plus cast and guests in Florida, the company may risk its reputation by being hypocritical and playing both sides in a way to keep its self-governing status, etc. within the state of Florida, but also making money off of its LGBTQ plus guests during the month of June by having this merchandise available. Disney is also quite diverse. Disney received a score of 100 for the 16th year in a row for the Corporate Equality Index in 2022. If Disney chooses not to back its LGBTQ plus employees, it may impact this score. Disney has opportunity, though. By backing its LGBTQ plus casts and guests, Disney gains quite a bit of opportunity. One way is increasing employee morale in the workplace. If Disney shows its employees that it cares about them, it will show in their work and in their guest experiences in the day-to-day operations of Walt Disney World. It can also increase diversity and inclusion, showing the use of its own key system, since Disney has made a big deal recently about adding diversity and inclusion to its 5 keys. The company needs to back up what it's saying by doing so itself. Disney also opens its target audience of park visitors to more members of the LGBTQ plus community if they know that they are backed and safe in Walt Disney World. Disney also creates consistency within its decisions as well as gains lifelong connections within its cast or guests if it's willing to openly support them and use its power and voice to amplify those who've spent years without the same rights as others. If cast and guests feel as though the company is supporting them, they will give more into the company. Empowering guests and cast members by allowing them to be fully and uniquely themselves at Walt Disney World is opportunity within itself. Reputation risk register, potential consequences. There are 3 groups impacted and potential worst-case scenarios that may come. If Disney chooses to back its cast members and speak out against this bill, the state of Florida could take away Reedy Creek Development Center. They could create laws that would hurt Disney's tax status. They could refuse to maintain Disney property with the tax dollars. They could also increase tax for Disney guests and cast members that would increase their vacation costs and costs of living. Cast members could quit if they hold anti-LGBTQ plus beliefs or are more right-winged, like Governor DeSantis. They could quit if Florida punishes Disney's stance of having Reedy Creek, if they feel as though their life and lifestyle will be impacted negatively by this. They could voice their own opinion as the companies through social media, on stage, in interviews, in a variety of ways. They could also openly be anti-LGBTQ plus on stage when interacting with guests. Guests themselves could cancel vacations if they are anti-LGBTQ plus. They could vacation elsewhere, moving this money from Disney to one of its competitors. They may not purchase the merchandise that Disney puts out during Pride Month, decreasing its revenue. And they could also cancel annual passes and Disney Vacation Club memberships. Scenario planning: short-term versus long-term reputation risks. In the short term, Disney would likely become the center of attention in Florida as well as right-wing media, giving them a source of information to create controversy from if the company chooses to speak out against this bill. Anti-LGBTQ plus guests could cancel their reservations, and the Florida governor could speak out against the company, bringing more media attention to Disney. In the medium term, competitors siding with the state of Florida and its legislation could choose them over Disney for various guests that decide to move their money elsewhere. The state of Florida could increase difficulty for Disney's maintenance and emergency service access teams and create a more difficult way of getting emergency responders or maintenance crews on Disney property. They could also have media campaigns by anti-LGBTQ plus members of the Disney community on social media, either cast members, former cast members, or just Disney fans and guests. In the long term, the state of Florida could remove Disney's self-governing status. The state could also take away Disney's medical emergency services and result in harm or even death to guests or cast members if they are not as close in proximity to the Disney property and able to get there on time in case of an emergency. Reputation risk assessment. This assessment concludes the reputation risk of speaking out against the Don't Say Gay bill poses a medium risk on the Walt Disney Company and Walt Disney World. There are opportunities to manage this risk and grow, but also risks that the company must take into consideration politically when choosing to speak out against its local lawmakers and community. Speaking up for cast members is a low risk for the company, as without them, the Disney magic would not be created. Cast members are the backbone of the company, and they deserve a place of work that creates a safe environment and supports them in their lifestyles. So who is more important, the local government or LGBTQ plus cast and guests? It's ultimately up to you to decide. Here are references that were referenced throughout the presentation. Thank you for your time. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns.